I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are standing in a pitch black room with the person you love most in the world, and you are reaching out to touch them. You are trying to find them in the dark, but you cannot see a single thing. And you are reaching out your hand, hoping to make contact, but every time you move your hand, there is just empty air, and you start to panic just a little bit because you know they are there. You know they are in the room with you, but you cannot feel them, you cannot locate them. And that disconnect, that feeling of reaching out and finding nothing, is exactly what happens in the bedroom. When you go silent, because intimacy is not just about two bodies being in the same bed, it is about two nervous systems communicating with each other, and sound is the wire that connects those two systems. I want to talk to you today about the moan frequency, not as a performance tip, and not as a trick to boost his ego, but as the fundamental bridge that allows true intimacy to trail from your body into his soul. Because when we are in those deep intimate moments, we are stripping away our clothes, but we are also supposed to be stripping away our defenses. We are supposed to be stripping away that polite social mask that we wear all day long. And when you stay silent, you are effectively keeping the mask on. You are keeping the armor on, and you are guarding your pleasure instead of sharing it. I need you to understand that for a man, the physical act of intimacy is often the only time in his life where he feels truly allowed to let go of control. And when he's with you, he's looking for a guide. He is looking for a sign that he is safe to let go, and your sound is that safety signal. When you are quiet, he is flying blind. He is driving a car at 100 miles an hour with the windshield painted black, and he is terrified. He is going to crash. He is terrified. He is doing it wrong. He is terrified that you are bored, or that you are making a grocery list in your head. And that anxiety, that low-level hum of insecurity that runs through his brain, kills the connection instantly, because instead of being present with you, feeling your skin, feeling your heat, he is up in his head, analyzing the silence. He is thinking, does she like this? Should I stop? Should I move? Is she waiting for me to finish? And suddenly, he's not making love to you. He is taking a test. And nobody feels intimate when they are taking a test. But when you introduce sound, when you introduce the moan frequency, you are turning on the lights in that dark room. You are grabbing his hand and saying, I am right here, and I am with you, and I am feeling what you are feeling. Sound is the physical manifestation of vulnerability, because it means you are so lost in the sensation, so overcome by the pleasure that you cannot contain it anymore. And that lack of containment is the most beautiful thing a man can witness, because it means he has helped you escape the prison of your own mind. We spend so much time in our heads worrying about how we look, worrying about our angles, worrying about if our stomach looks flat, but true intimacy happens when we drop down out of our heads and into our bodies in the fastest way. To drop into your body is to let the breath out, to let the sound out. Think about it. When you are in pain, you make a sound. When you are surprised, you make a sound. When you are laughing, you make a sound, because sound is our primal way of expressing truth. So when you are feeling the most intense pleasure of your life and you are silent, you are essentially lying to the room. You are hiding the truth of your experience. I want you to think of your voice not as a noise, but as a vibration that travels through the air and touches him just as physically as your hands do. When you moan, when you sigh, when you let that breath hitch in your throat, you are sending a physical wave of energy into his body that vibrates against his eardrums and travels straight to his nervous system, triggers a release of oxytocin and dopamine that binds him to you. This is about co-regulation. It is about your pleasure feeding his pleasure, and his pleasure feeding yours in this infinite loop of feedback. If you cut the sound, you cut the loop. You turn a two-player game into a one-player game. And I know so many of you have this script in your head that says good girls are quiet, or that making noise is dirty or performative, or that you will sound like a dying animal. But that is just shame talking. That is just society trying to control your pleasure. High-value intimacy is about owning your experience. It is about taking up space sonically. When you make noise, you are saying, I am here, I am important, my pleasure matters. And I trust you enough to show you exactly how good you make me feel. That trust is what makes a man fall in love. He doesn't fall in love with the perfect body, he falls in love with the woman who trusts him enough to completely unravel in his arms. The moan frequency is the sound of you unraveling. It is the sound of your walls coming down. And when he hears those walls come down, he feels an overwhelming sense of protectiveness and power and gratitude. that you chose him to be the one to witness it. You are giving him a gift. You are giving him the gift of your raw, unfiltered self. So I want you to stop thinking of this as something you do for him and start thinking of it as something you do with him. It is a conversation. He touches you, that is a question. You moan, that is the answer. He moves his hand, that is a question. You gasp, that is the answer. If you don't answer the questions, the conversation dies, the intimacy dies. We want the conversation to be rich and deep and passionate, and that requires you to use your voice. It requires you to be brave enough to be heard, because when you are heard, you are known, and when you are known, that is when you are truly loved. So now that we have established that silence is a barrier and sound is a bridge, I want to get into the texture of this intimacy, because I don't want you to think this is just about screaming or being loud for the sake of being loud, because that is not intimacy, that is performance, and men can tell the difference between a performance and a genuine expression of feeling. The moan frequency is about the nuance of the breath and the vibration that connects your soul to his. Let's start with the breath, because the breath is the most intimate thing you possess. It is the very essence of your life force. And when you share your breath with him, you are sharing your life with him. I want you to focus on what I call the surrender breath. This isn't a scream, it is that sharp intake of air that happens right when he touches a sensitive spot, or right when he pulls you closer. It is that sound of catching your breath. That specific sound is incredibly powerful because it tells his primal brain that he has just short-circuited your system in the best possible way. It tells him that his touch has voltage when you are in the heat of the moment, and your breathing changes from slow and steady to shallow and quick. You are signaling to him that the intensity is rising, and he can feel that rhythm change against his own chest. You have to understand that when you are close, when you are skin to skin, he can feel the vibrations of your chest. He can feel the rattle of your breath, and that physical synchronization is what creates that feeling of oneness that we are all chasing. It is not just auditory, it is tactile. Then we move into the validation vibration, which is that low guttural hum that comes from deep in your throat or even your chest. This is the sound of deep resonating satisfaction. It is not a high-pitched squeak. It is a low grounding sound that says, I am exactly where I want to be. When you make this sound, it vibrates through your body. And because you are pressed up against him, it vibrates into his body too. You are literally resonating at the same frequency. This acts as a guide for him. It is the most honest feedback you can give. If he is doing something and you are silent, he has to guess if it feels good. But if he is doing something and you are letting out that low continuous moan, he knows without a shadow of a doubt that he is hitting the spot, and that confidence allows him to be more present. When a man is confident, he is not in his head worrying. He is in the moment feeling. And when he is in the moment, he can connect with you on a spiritual level. And I want to talk about the whisper intimacy, because this is where things get really spicy and really emotional. The moan frequency isn't always about volume. Sometimes the most intense sound is the quietest one. When you are right in his ear and you whisper how good it feels, or you just let out a soft, breathless whimper directly into his ear canal, that is an incredibly vulnerable act. It creates a secret bubble around the two of you. It feels like you are sharing a secret that the rest of the world doesn't get to know. It creates this us against the world dynamic. You are letting him into your internal monologue. Instead of thinking, oh my God, that feels amazing inside your brain, I want you to push that thought out through your lips. Let him hear it. Let him know. And do not underestimate the power of verbalizing your desire in real time, using words like yes, or right there, or don't stop, or even just his name. Saying his name in that moment is one of the most powerful things you can do, because it anchors the pleasure to him. It tells him, I am not just enjoying the sensation, I am enjoying you. It makes it personal. It makes it about the connection between two specific souls, not just two random bodies. And here is where the good girl conditioning really tries to mess us up, because we feel like we are being too demanding or too loud or too much. But I want you to flip that. Being vocal is generous. It is generous because you are giving him the roadmap to your pleasure. You are removing the guesswork. You are saying, I want us to get there together, and I'm going to help you navigate. Think of it like a dance. In a dance, you have to communicate with your partner through tension and release, through movement and sound. If you go limp and silent, he has to drag you around the floor. But if you respond, if you squeeze. Back if you breathe with the movement, suddenly you are flying across the floor together. The sound is the rhythm of that dance. And you have to let the sound build. Don't censor the crescendo. As the sensation builds, let your voice build with it. Let it get ragged. Let it get messy. Intimacy is messy. It is sweat and fluids and tangled hair. And it should be messy sounds too. If you are trying to sound pretty, you are not fully in the moment. Real passion is raw and unpolished. Men are not looking for a perfectly auto-tuned pop star in the bedroom. They are looking for a woman who is so overcome with desire that she breaks a little bit. That breaking sound, that crack in your voice, that gasp for air, that is the sound of you losing control and giving yourself over to him. And that surrender is the ultimate compliment. It tells him that he is the man who can take you there. So I want you to practice this, not as a performance, but as a release valve. When the feeling gets too big to hold inside, let it out. Let it spill over. Let him bathe in the sound of your enjoyment, because that sound is the fuel that drives his desire to please you even more. It creates a cycle where the more you express, the more he gives. And the more he gives, the more you feel. It is an upward spiral of intimacy that can take you to places you have never been before. We have talked about the bridge, and we have talked about the mechanic of the sound. But now I want to talk about the emotional anchor, because this is the part that changes your relationship from just having a fun time in the bedroom to being deeply soul-tied to each other. The moan frequency creates a memory anchor that is stronger than almost anything else. You have to understand that the brain ties sound to memory and emotion very tightly. Think about how a certain song can instantly make you cry or take you back to a moment in your childhood. The sounds you make during intimacy work the same way on his brain. When you are vocal, when you have a signature way of breathing or moaning or saying his name, you are imprinting yourself onto his subconscious. You are creating a soundtrack that plays in his head when you are not there. He will be sitting at work or driving in his car, and he will remember the sound of your breath in his ear, and it will trigger a rush of dopamine and a rush of longing for you. This is how you build obsession in a healthy way. You become the source of his most intense emotional and physical highs, and the sound is the trigger for that memory. But it goes deeper than just memory. It is about emotional safety. We live in a world where men are constantly told to repress their emotions, to be stoic, to be tough, and for many men, the bedroom is the only place where they feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to be tender, to experience intense emotion. When you are vocal, you are creating a container of safety for him. You are telling him it is safe to feel this much. It is safe to let go because I'm letting go too. Your vulnerability invites his vulnerability. If you are stoic and silent, he will feel the need to be stoic and silent. And you will have this mechanical friction without the emotional fire. But if you are expressive, if you are loud, if you are open, you give him permission to be expressive too. You might find that when you start making more noise, he starts making more noise. He starts groaning. He starts telling you how good it feels. He starts opening up that part of himself that he keeps locked away. You are leading by example. You are showing him that passion is nothing to be ashamed of. And this deepens the bond, because now you are not just sex partners, you are safe havens for each other. You are the one place in the world where he feels completely competent, completely powerful, and completely accepted. That feeling of competence is crucial. I cannot stress this enough. Men need to feel like they can win. When you are silent, he feels like he is failing, or at best, he feels like he is just getting by. But when you are vocal, he feels like he is winning the championship. He feels like a king. And when a man feels like a king around you, he will treat you like his queen. He will want to protect that feeling. He will want to be around the person who makes him feel that capable. It creates a gratitude in him. He looks at you and thinks, wow, she is so open with me. She trusts me this much. That deepens his commitment to you. It makes him want to do more for you outside the bedroom too, because the connection you have built inside the bedroom spills over into the kitchen, into the car rides, into the way you sit on the couch together. It softens the edges of the relationship. And I want you to reframe this for yourself too. This is not just about him. This is about you claiming your right to pleasure. For centuries, women have been told to be quiet, to be small, to not take up space. When you unleash your voice, you are engaging in a radical act of self-love. You are saying, my pleasure is real. my pleasure is big and I'm going to express it. That confidence is magnetic. There is nothing sexier than a woman who owns her pleasure. It signals high value. It signals that you know your worth. When you are confident enough to make noise, you are telling him that. You are a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to get it. That energy is intoxicating. It makes him respect you more as a lover and as a partner. So I want to challenge you. I want you to look at the silence as the enemy of intimacy. I want you to look at sound as the thread that sews you together. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to sound like a movie star. You just have to sound like you. You have to sound like a woman who is feeling something real. Start small if you have to. Start with the breath. Amplify the breath. Then let the hum comes out. Then let the words come out. Peel back the layers one by one. And watch what happens to him. Watch his eyes. Watch how he looks at you with a new level of intensity, hunger. Watch how he touches you with more purpose. You are waking up his primal brain, yes, but you are also waking up his heart. You are showing him that he is home. And that is what we are all looking for at the end of the day. We are looking for that feeling of coming home to another person. Your voice is the key that opens the door. So don't leave him standing on the porch in the dark. Open the door, let the sound out, invite him in, make it loud, make it messy, make it real. And create the kind of intimacy that doesn't just satisfy the body but feeds the soul. Because that is the frequency where true love lives.